So, now for people that might not be familiar with you or your music, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. I'm 21. Been rapping for like about 4 years. Started taking it serious like the last 2 years. I'm signed to a record label that was founded by a homie who also rapped here in Tucson, Al Basics. The record label is called Camerata Records. I make underground, lyrical, conscious hip-hop. None of that bubblegum stuff that you hear on the radio. Nothing about swag, nothing about materialistic stuff. It's mostly about like life and the things that go on and the things that are going on in my head as well.
Now you're part of Camerata Records. Who else is in Camerata besides yourself and Al Basics?
Camerata Records, Al Basics, Talk-Sik, Postscript, and Pablo Escobar's.
Are you guys looking to recruit anybody else, or is that just the four MCs?
Nah, man. Camerata's been going on for quite some time, and we've had a lot of heads come in and out, and the basic foundation has always been me, Basics, and Pablo Escobar's, and like I said, we've had a lot of people come in and out of the group, and you know, we finally figured that we're just gonna stick to that and stick to the foundation and the movement, and you know, we're more than a record, you know, label. We're like a family. We're brothers and stuff. And Postscript joined, and he fit very well. And other than that, we're just grinding, just us four, making moves.
Now you're one of the, I think you're probably like the youngest rapper I've ever interviewed here on the show. So was it hard for you to get into like the hip hop game since you're so young?
In one aspect, yeah. I mean, anybody can do it, you know. Anybody can pick up a microphone and go buy one and, you know, record and put it on the internet. But the aspect that it was holding me back for being so young was performing at venues, performing at bars that I couldn't get into. I was held back from a lot of, you know, big shows because of my age. But other than that, not really, man.
Now, your last album was Inner War Kings. What did you want to accomplish with that album?
Personally, that's the fourth one that I've released. The first two were kind of just to showcase rhyme and flow and, you know, lyrical abilities, and then I kind of toned it down, and with Chaser I started making more songs, and Inner Workings was a concept album. It's a play off of the term, you know, inner workings, you know, with things, you know, that you don't see going on that help any type of, you know, it's like the mechanicals of anything is the inner workings. And with me, it was my emotions and thoughts. I wrote most of this the album when I was going through a deep depression. So when I was getting out and I was starting to get back into the swing of things, that's when I just decided to document everything and put it out there to kind of put, you know, some soul into it and to show people who go through hard times and struggles and they feel like they're alone and they're depressed and all that stuff, that, you know, that it's something to listen to, and there's always an uplifting theme to every song.
Now, I would say like your work, Postscript, and Al Basics, very like emotional rap.
Yeah.
Is that something that you purposely try to do, or it's just that's the way you feel, so that's the way you got to rhyme?
I can't speak for them. For me, it's you know, like I said, I dabbled into the showcasing skills and showcasing imagination earlier in my other projects, but this one is, like I said, I was going through a depression. It's not how I always rap. They're mostly known for doing that a lot. They're more consistent with it. This last one was really emotional, and I did it because for the simple fact that it was a theme project, and I just wanted to focus on that, the emotional aspect. Other than that, the newer stuff is going to be a lot of more, you know, cocky, toxic, and, you know, rapping about different things and some uplifting stuff too.
Now, your next album, how many tracks deep are you in it right now?
I'm not working on one, man. Like I said, I got 4 so far, and what I'm trying to do is print these up, print at least 3 of them up, hit the road, tour, get out of Tucson, Arizona. You know, I still want to dabble here. Just get on the road, go on tour, and push it out. So as far as a new project, I'm kind of done for, I'd say, I don't even have a time frame for it. I'm not really thinking about that right now.
So right now you're just purely focusing on the performances. How important do you think like your performances are to you as an artist?
Man, I can't stress it enough. It's key. I have a performance tomorrow. I've had performances before, and that has been one of the biggest setbacks for me as an artist, I believe. I wasn't always able to, you know, get it down But when it comes to artists trying to make it, you will not get anywhere if you can't perform and you can't hold down a solid performance and you can't rock a crowd.
And you said about rocking a crowd. So I mean, I think you put out really good records. I know for a fact, like Limp Bizkit may make horrible music, but they can really rock the crowd.
Yeah.
So how much do you think the performance? I mean, it's just about like knowing how to rock the crowd. So do you think it doesn't matter the quality of music you're putting out there as long as like you can rock the crowd as far as shows are concerned?
From a fan standpoint, no, it doesn't matter if you put out horrible music or anything like that, because there's a lot of horrible music out there that attracts a lot of fans and attracts crowds when it comes to shows. But from a musician standpoint and an MC standpoint, I think it comes hand in hand. You have to put out quality music and also be able to perform it.
Now, do you think enough rappers take the time to actually, like, learn how to become a better performer? Or do you think a lot of MCs just think, oh, it's going to be the same as battle rapping?
No, man, I don't think a lot of people stress it enough. I think I've seen a lot of local acts and underground acts, video footage of some of my favorite MCs doing underground shows, and even the people here in Tucson. And I just analyze it, that's just the way, when it comes to music, I analyze everything. I can't really sit back and look at it as a fan, but I see it, and I see a lot of, things that could be worked on, and it seems like nobody really takes the time to do that. There are some heads that really perfect their craft and perfect their performance.
All right, we're going to be right back with Talk-Sik. Right now, we're going to take a quick break to play some music. This is Burp T featuring Scribbler and Capo from his album The Morning After with the song Snake Plissken. Off a single from his new album, which is yet to be titled. I'm back here with Talk-Sik, who's live in person in the studio right now. Now, one of the things I was wondering, because you rapped before in Spanish, have you tried rapping more in Spanish?
No, man, that was kind of an experimental type thing. It was a couple of years ago, and I just, it's the reason why I don't freestyle. It's the same reason, is because my forte is multi-syllabical, rhyme schemes, and I can't do that in freestyle because that's hard. It's hard enough to freestyle, and imagine trying to come up with multis. But Spanish, I wanted to try it, so I did it. I did a verse in Spanish. I did some of the hook in Spanish. And I was able to pull off the multis and stuff. It's pretty sick, but ever since then, I kind of haven't really thought about that.
Are you fluent in Spanish?
Not so much. Somewhat, but, depends who I'm talking to.
Now, as far as, like, experimenting with your music, what do you think you're doing right now that's different from anybody else out there?
Hooks, man. My hook game, I've been changing it up. I've been listening to a lot of artists that just really go out there on the hooks, not too crazy, but just some catchy stuff, but not sellout stuff, not simple, like, repetitive stuff, but it's catchy and it's melodic. And then I've been experimenting with the hooks, and I think I've done a good job with the last album.
I mean, do you think, because I know for a fact, like, Jay-Z and even Snoop Dogg can make club tracks that are tight.
Yeah.
So do you think a legitimate rapper can make club tracks?
A legitimate rapper can pull it off. But it just depends on what they're trying to do with their movement and the sound that they're trying to put out. But there's a lot of people that I like that can do, can delve into both realms of the mainstream and then the underground lyrical stuff.
Now, when you make your music, do you make it in, like, for the mainstream, or do you just make it strictly for yourself?
Well, first thing I do is I get a beat, and then if I like it, I'll talk to the producer, and then they'll let me know if I can rock that beat. After that, I try to see what emotion that beat has into it, and then from there I go from there. And like, let's say there's an up-tempo one, then I kind of just go with some up-tempo stuff. But or I actually think about a theme, and I think about the concept of the song and stuff. But it's rarely anything to get mainstream attention. I've done it before, but not as much. I rarely think about that.
I know sometimes rappers will hold up against others if, like, say they play down their word play or something like that. Like, they're not bringing, like, 100% across it. But do you find, like, do you have to always bring 100% when you're rhyming, or no?
No, that's not true. I used to think that way, but there's also people who can dumb it down but also say some really dope stuff. Lupe Fiasco is a good example of that.
Your last album that we brought up, Inner War Kings, I really do feel like it's a whole album.
Mm.
Was there a lot of tracks that you had to cut from it, or did you always just go in like, we're recording an album here?
No, I didn't have to cut any. I really took time to plan it out, and I got a set list of all the beats and then the concepts, and I actually really sat down and worked on it and said, this song incorporates this theme, this song, pushes out this message, this song holds this emotion and things like that. I tried not to repeat anything. So then once I got towards the end of it, I finally cut off right there and stopped writing and stopped recording and just pushed it out that way.
Now, production-wise, who handled the production on Inner Workings?
There's several producers, if I can remember them. Ben B, Alibaba, Habeas Corpus. There's this dude from Canada, his name is Troy K. He was on there too. Who am I forgetting?
Your homie.
Which one?
He's got a regular.
A local producer, he's Sick-Minded, and Habeas Corpus mixed and mastered the whole album.
Now, the majority of those producers you just mentioned, are they from Arizona, or are they from like around the United States?
All of them are from Tucson except for Troy K.
You forgot Gunky.
Oh yeah, Gunky Beats, Gunky. How could I forget him?
Now, how did you like find producers like that? Did you go out like send them like your vocals or what?
With my previous projects, I was on a mission because the things that MCs these days do, they kind of don't know the importance of a producer, and they won't go out of their way to pay for beats. They'll download instrumentals, or they'll look for free beats, or their homies will produce their whole thing. My issue was I put my ears out there for the producers in the town, got to know them, showed them the stuff that I've done before, paid for beats with them, and then they saw what I can do to their beats. And then the majority of the time, not to sound big-headed, but they really liked what I did. So they came back and they'd hit me with beats and say, hey, man, I want you on this, I want you on that. And ever since then, it's grown into a partnership, business-wise.
Now, one of the things I like a lot about Camerata Records is you guys don't really release mixtapes, you just release albums.
Hmm.
Do you have any desire to release mixtapes, or do you like that the label's just about making albums?
I mean, it could go either way. Honestly, I personally don't know the differences between that. Besides, the whole mixtape era had a different sound to it earlier in the 2000s. But other than that, albums, it's better that way. There's no instrumentals to any of our stuff. It's all originally produced, and it's mostly underground. So I think it's better for us, and it's better for the overall movement of underground hip hop to push out some homemade stuff.
Now, do you keep like journals, like writing journals, or is it just like you go into the booth and then you just let the beat work its magic and then you come up with the lines there?
Nah. As far as writing?
Yeah, as far as your creative
Nah.
process of writing is concerned.
Nah, I don't write in the booth. I write anywhere but the booth. We used to do that as Camerata when we were really making music together. Now we're just solo artists, but now I just get a beat from the producers, and whatever I feel like doing, I write, I come up with ideas, and then I sit down and just type it all up and recite, practice, keep writing, practice, recite. It's a process, and then after that I just kind of then I go into the booth knowing what I'm gonna do.
Now, what's one trend in hip hop you'd like to see go away, and one trend in hip hop you'd like to see return?
One trend I'd like to see go away would be rappers who can't sing try to sing, not necessarily with the auto-tune. I think that's gone. I haven't really listened to the radio lately, but it's really annoying to hear these guys just like try to sing or try to do something. Drake can pull it off, but I mean, other than that, not a lot of people can do that. One thing that I'd like to see come back, conscious hip-hop, things about, making songs about real issues in the world today. Like, they kind of just go around issues and they talk about the same stuff that's being talked about by other rappers, when, they can really reach out to their fans and put a positive message out there and talk about something that people need to know about, need to think about.
What do you feel are like the taboo subjects in mainstream hip hop?
emo stuff, emotional stuff, deep down, thoughts and feelings, and like suicidal tendencies, or talking about, I don't know, taboo stuff. There's a lot of it. There's only so much acceptable things in hip hop, and there's a lot of things that aren't accepted.
Why do you think stuff like that's not accepted? When, I mean, you brought up like suicide and stuff, but that's something like Biggie and Tupac always talked about.
Yeah.
So why do you think they could get away with it? And now if you come up with that, they're just gonna like label you like, oh, he's just like soft. And
Yeah,
like that.
soft and nerdy and stuff like that. It comes down to the whole cool, label that they tack on to people. I mean, it's like a popularity contest now with hip hop. It's people who can hit a lot of fans, and a lot of people can appreciate it and like it, and listen to it. And if you're not rapping about the things that is going on with the trends of hip hop today, then you're pretty much labeled someone who is okay. Whereas, I feel like a lot of the people that I know personally can really rip a beat way better than a lot of the cats that are on the radio. And it just goes into the mainstream and their agendas towards, the material that they put out on the air.
And what were your top five hip hop albums of last year?
Albums?
Albums of last year.
Ooh, man.
Not of all time, just last year, because I know that's too hard of a question.
Man, I don't even know. I didn't do a lot of research and buying them.
I mean, who was the last guy's album that actually you feel like warranted a purchase?
Decisive, Run with the Creeps, the deluxe edition. I don't know if you've listened to Decisive.
That's Canadian, right?
Canadian. And also Rhyme Asylum's Solitary Confinement. Rhyme Asylum's from the UK. And Joe Budden. Did Joe Budden drop the Mood Music 4 last year?
Yeah.
Or was it last year?
Yeah.
The Mood Music 4, Joe Budden. That one warranted a buy for sure. And damn, I can't really remember.
Hey, you brought up Rhyme Asylum. Do you listen to like a lot of like UK hip hop in that or not?
I've heard the only cats that I've heard from the UK that really caught my ear was Low-Key. You ever heard of Low-Key?
Yeah, he did stuff with Mortal Technique.
Yeah, that song is dope, man. Low-Key and Rhyme Asylum. Rhyme Asylum have worked with a lot of people too, like Crooked Eye, and who else was on that album? They had some good features on that album from the US, and not so many people from the UK at all, but they're really dope.
And this was I actually brought this up with Habeas Corpse, and I just want to see what your thoughts would be on it. Who do you think's a better MC, LP, or Producto? I don't know if you're familiar with them. Are you all at all familiar with LP?
I'm not, no.
Okay, let me think. Kanye West or Tech Nine? Who's a better MC?
Tech Nine.
Now, why do you say Tech Nine's a better MC?
I give Tech Nine a lot of respect because he did him the whole time. He 100% he did him, and it's weird, but he has no problem with that. That's why he founded the whole Strange Music record company, and that's why I give him respect. But also he's been doing it for a long time, and he has a fan base that is ridiculous. Whereas Kanye West was in with the mainstream the whole way, so he had the tools. Kanye West had the people, had the tools, had the mainstream right there in his palms the whole time. I'm not knocking his musical abilities, but as far as emceeing, it's got to be Tech Nine. He built his foundation from the ground up.
Now, do you think Kanye West is that good of an MC?
He's okay. He's done some good stuff, but mostly more often no.
See, because I personally believe like he just puts together really good albums, but just him personally he's not that good, but it's just because he's like on a Kanye West. So one of the things I got to bring up is, have you heard Guilty Simpson and Danny Brown's album?
No, man, I've heard of it, but I have not heard it.
Okay, have you heard like a Gangstar record?
Yeah, the old school ones. Yeah.
Okay, a Gangstar one, and let me think here. Did you listen to what was like the last collaboration album you heard?
Ooh, the last one that I heard. See that like Habeas said, I have my whole Spotify account, and it's like 3,000 songs, and I put them on shuffle. But I think the last one that I really liked was the Felt collaboration album. I forgot which one was. I think didn't they put out more than one?
Oh, do they put out like 3?
There's the one with the blue cover with the car.
Yeah.
You know which one I'm talking about.
Now, what I was talking about with the collaborations, because do you think like one of the things I really liked about the Danny Brown and Guilty Simpson collaboration, which I would put like it's something that I would put with like a Gangstar album, is that both artists never overshadow each other.
Mhm.
They're both working together. Not to say they don't have their moments. They do have their moments, but they only achieve those moments because the other artist helps them.
Yeah.
But like, I feel kind of like with a really good producer, it doesn't matter. Like a Dr. Dre, it doesn't matter who's on that beat.
Yeah.
The beat's gonna be sick. Whereas, as far as like, Danny Brown makes tracks that only Guilty and Simpson sounds that dope on the track.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you personally, when you go into the production booth, do you want the producer to make like a custom track for you, or are you just looking for a dope producer?
I just look for a dope producer, and I go for what they have. You know, the beats that they have, I look into their collection, and then I find whatever's gonna fit me. Because there's a lot of producers that produce a lot of different styles, and you know, like let's say there's one producer, he has some dubstep, he has some East Coast sounding one, he has some West Coast sounding one, he has some down south sounding one, he has some mainstream sounding ones. And I just go and just listen to it and see if I can hear myself on it, and then see if I really want to rock it, and then that's when I approach them with it.
Now here's something I've always kind of wondered. When you go to a producer, can you be like, hey, I want you to produce me something that sounds like dubstep? Like, do they take your like request at all, or is it just like, this is what I got, either like it or you don't?
Yeah, well, with the producers that I got in with, I can do that. When it comes to approaching someone that I don't really know or haven't really worked with, I try to stray away from, you know, demands like that. I just kind of work with them. But with the producers that I have gotten close to, I can do that. I can hit them up. You know, I could have an idea, and I'm at work, and I'll give them a call, and I'll be like, hey, man, you think you have anything like this? And I'll give them an example of a song or something, and they'll be like, oh, you know, I'll text you back when I get a chance. Let me listen. You know, they'll hit me back, and a lot of songs were made that way.
Now, could you please do us the honor of blessing our ears with like a freestyle? Now, it doesn't have to be off the top of your head. It can be pre-written.
A written? Yeah, I'll drop a written. It goes,
Remember, no cussing, by the way.
no cussing. All right. Kicking a lesson, listen, hop on this expedition. Same finger that I finger broads with to press ignition. Let's go down memory lane to pick up your recognition, and let's envision realness. I'm talking head-to-head collisions. Let's use our think tanks to go up on these quest and missions. To the right there's a desert vision, to the left a business. Behind, you know, we left decisions. Up ahead it isn't less than this, it's better living. Next of kins are pessimistic. Forget it, we don't need them, turning down another road. Cause if we go and bring them, they'll just bring the bumper low. And I'm not saying that we'll sell our souls to make some cash, but if you doubt my drive to be made at last, you're a waste of gas. Bumping my team's music, no one else on the scene's music. Cause it just won't sound right if we're seen zooming, bumping your stuff. People on the streets booing, probably sleep through it and crash, so I keep moving to my theme music.
Sounds just as good as anything I've ever heard you put out, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Gotta give you props for that. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to listen to some more music right now, and we'll be back with Talk-Sik live in the studio.